Materials play an enormous role in product development. They literally materialize a concept and determine how a design will function, perform, how long it will last, how much it will cost, if it's safe, and how it will connect with people. There are many considerations when choosing a material in product design, which might seem overwhelming. So I wanted to make this video that talks about 5 factors that inform how materials are chosen in the design process, along with some book recommendations if you want to learn more. In the hierarchy of selecting materials, functionality is the first place to start. Functionality is about understanding how your design needs to work and perform. It's something that is discovered in the design process. And once you know how your design needs to function, you can then choose materials that will enable your design to work and perform. So what are we looking at when we look at materials from the perspective of functionality? Well, we're looking at their behavior. For example, let's look at this water tank from my steamer. The function of this part is to provide access to the water tank, but also prevent water from escaping. And the material chosen for this part is, my guess, is some type of TPR-like material with a specific durometer. And if you don't know what durometer is, my unscientific explanation, I think of it as like squishiness or hardness of a material. And how this material behaves is that it's bendable, kind of squishy, can be manipulated. And what this means is that the TPR part can have a friction fit with the water tank, because we know that the TPR with this durometer can be manipulated and will move out of the way. And ultimately what this means is that this the material will provide a seal to prevent the water from escaping. If you want to learn more about materials and how they function, I suggest you follow along and do the exercises in this book, which is called Exploring Materials, Creative Design for Everyday Objects. And it takes you through a bunch of different exercises with a class and with a wide range of materials. If functionality is about identifying how your design needs to work and matching it with the appropriate materials, we really need to talk about materials and their properties. And the question is, how do you learn about these things? Because there's just so many different materials in the world. And what I'd like to add here is I guess, my approach to learning about materials, which is to really learn about them like I would a new friend. And that means spending some one-on-one time with them. I want to know their personality and character. I want to know how they'll behave in different situations. I want to know what comes easily to them and natural versus what is challenging and difficult. And the purpose of learning these things is to anticipate how they will behave in future scenarios. And I want to give you some book recommendations here. The first one is the Materials Source Book, which is, it's like a dictionary of materials. There are so many materials in this book. And so use it as a reference guide. The second one is Materiology, the Creative Industry's Guide to Materials and Technologies. And this book is, it just presents information in a much more pleasurable way than perhaps the first one. Context is about understanding the whole situation, and it includes answering all of the, who, where, when, why type questions around the development of a new product. So, for example, who is going to be using this product? It's really understanding the end user and what is important to them. So, for example, the ultra light hiker is really concerned with every single gram that they're carrying, and they see enormous value in using super lightweight materials like this DCF, which is used in everything from tents to bear bags. Materials are one of the most direct ways to influence the personality of a product. And I think it's because materials really engage our senses and help us connect emotionally to products, but also environments. When the designers of the original iMac were picking materials, they said they wanted the housing to look like a steamy shower. And I think this is a really kind of intriguing kind of situation because, with a steamy shower, you know that there is a naked person on the other side, but you can't see them because of the steam. So there's this idea of hinting at something, but not showing everything that really creates an intriguing situation materially. Cost is the price, value is the perception. Now, two products can function in almost identical ways, but have very different price points and perceptual value. And the key here as a designer is to understand how to align cost with perceived value, because there are invisible qualities that play into how people value a product, and these qualities are directly tied to materials. Take, for example, these two spoons, one plastic, one metal. Now, there obviously is a perception plastic is cheap, metal is more expensive, but there is another quality that you cannot feel, and let's call it an invisible quality. It is an experiential quality, and it's the quality of weight. There is a metaphor that says we give more weight to weightier things, and it's an area called embodied cognition. If you want to look it up and read more, it's totally fascinating. This idea that we give more value to things that weigh more. One of the earlier iPhones was too lightweight. It felt like a toy. It felt cheap. So Apple actually added weight to the phone to make it feel more valuable. Materials have properties that can either help or hinder how a person experiences a product. So identifying those properties that will make a product easier to use is paramount. For example, optical properties can have a significant effect on usability. The fact that this steamer has a translucent water tank makes it much easier to use. Another example is my favorite acrylic ruler. And, the fact that it is transparent means that I don't have to, mark up my fabric before I cut. I can just measure and cut. So that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And till next time, we will see you later.